Welcome to Let the Quran Speak, and peace be with you. My name is Umar Chaudhry, and I'm your host for this episode. At Let the Quran Speak, we try to clear any misconceptions that exist with the religion of Islam, and to help us with this task, we have Brother Shabir Ali from the Islamic Information and Dawah Center International. Welcome to the show, Brother Shabir.
It's my pleasure to be on.
It is customary for us to begin our show with a portion from the Quran. Today we'll be discussing verse number 27 from the 5th chapter. Now, Brother Shabir, this is the 5th chapter, verse number 27. What exactly is this verse saying?
Well, it's talking about the story of the two sons of Adam, Cain and Able, without naming them. It says that they put forward a sacrifice, an offering to God. It was accepted from one of them, but not from the other. The one got jealous of the other and said, I'm going to certainly kill you. The other replies, well, why don't you try again? If it be the will of God, he will accept. He only accepts the offerings from those who display the righteousness or the piousness, the piety, because that's what God is looking for.
Now, this is another story which draws parallels from the Bible, because obviously it was there before we saw it in the Quran. What are the parallels? Is it the same story, or are we getting a new version, more details?
Well, it is basically the same story. Not much more is given by way of details. In fact, less by way of details. The Quran wants to focus on the moral lessons behind the story. And perhaps this is the reason why it doesn't bother to name the individuals, because the names are not so important. What is important is what comes out of the story as a moral lesson. And we see there are many moral lessons actually that come out of this. One is the importance of piety in presenting sacrifices to God. It's not so much a show on the whole apparatus and all of the rules and the etiquettes that go with that, but not the legalism, but the piety that really is important. We learn something here about the human condition that involves jealousy. Somebody does something, he gets accepted, he achieves something, he gets a prize, and the rest of us feel jealous about that. So that jealousy, we should recall, was the cause of Cain killing his brother Abel. We have in the reply of Abel to this situation an example of patience, of courage, and of determination towards what is right. He said to his brother, if you will stretch forward your hand to kill me, I'm not going to stretch forward my hand to kill you. And if you did in fact kill me, then you will bear my sin and yours. So there's a lesson in all of this for us, in that Abel here was able to demonstrate patience and fortitude in this sight of this danger. And he was patient in that he would not rush forward to kill his brother. He may, of course, act in self-defense if that were necessary, but he would not take the aggressive stance of trying to kill his brother, as his brother was trying to kill him. We have a lesson here that if we harm others, as Cain was willing to harm Abel, then the one who harms others will actually bear the sins of the others as a way of compensating for the harm that they have done to others.
Now, another question that comes out of these is that since the parallels are so similar to the story in the Bible, isn't the Bible giving us the same lessons basically? Can't one just say this is just borrowed from the Bible? The Quran isn't giving us anything original. It's just all the same all over again.
Well, it seems that what is different in the Quran is the focus on the moral lessons, whereas the Bible, because it was telling the story for the first time, focuses on all of the details of the story. So one would read the stories, and often one has to tease out the moral lessons from the stories. The Quran comes from a different perspective. Starts with the stories already known, and then just deals with the moral lessons.
Is this the general principle within the rest of the Quran as well?
Generally, it does that. There's also something important about this story, in that where it concludes is with verse number 32 in this chapter, where it says, and for that reason we have ordained for the children of Israel that whoever kills a soul, it will be as if he has killed all of humankind. And if he has saved a soul, it will be as if he has saved all of humankind. Now, I've used the popular translation in saying that, but we should say more like, if one kills a person, he should think that he is in fact wiping out the entire potential progeny of this person, which could be a whole large number of people if we think of all of the multiplier effect of generations after generations expanding. from this individual. And at the same time, if one saves an individual, one potentially could be saving all of the billions of people that could eventually be born as descendants of this individual.
Now, having said that, when you say that if you kill one person, it's like killing the whole generations that will come, is this to say that the sin that is involved with this would actually attribute all that to the person? I mean, obviously when you kill a person, you want to know how many offspring they're going to have. So how does that apply in terms of...
Yeah, probably it doesn't apply and count in this way in terms of sins. We don't want to overcome or overburden the person with the idea of so much guilt. But at the same time, we should know that this is the effect, in fact. Some of the actions that we perform may seem to be just simply having its effect its effect here and now. But all of our actions have, in fact, a tremendous effect, and some of them have multiplier effects.
Now, I've seen also that when Muslims give blood, or Muslim organizations go ahead, ask Muslims to give blood, they use this verse, and they say it's like saving all of humanity. How does that work?
Well, the same principle applies here, in that if you give blood and that saves the life of an individual, you are potentially saving the lives of the progeny of this individual. And at the same time, if you don't give and if you don't support, if you just simply let people die, then you are contributing or at least turning a blind eye to the fact that so many people who are dying are not only dying of their own, but they are also going with the potential progeny that they could have left behind.
Thank you, Brother Shabir.
Welcome.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.